Imagine the economy tightening again. Gas prices climb, store shelves empty faster than restock trucks can arrive, and the cost of a basic grocery run jumps noticeably week after week. You've seen the pattern before. Panic buying in the first few days clears out rice, beans, and canned goods, leaving families scrambling by week 3 when the real strain sets in. Most people focus on what feels comforting right now, but some households stay calm because they plan differently. The difference shows up quickly. Short-term disruptions might last days, but economic pressure often stretches into weeks or months, with inflation biting harder and supply lines staying thin. That's when the gap between panic and security becomes obvious. The households that keep eating normally aren't the ones with the biggest budgets or the fanciest gear. They're the ones who quietly built a foundation of shelf-stable, nutrient-dense, truly affordable foods that protect both their wallet and their nutrition over the long haul. What makes a food truly useful in that kind of stretch isn't just that it won't spoil quickly. It's that it delivers real calories and nutrition without needing refrigeration or complicated preparation. These are the items that require almost nothing extra. No electricity, no fancy equipment, just basic water and heat if you have it. When everything else gets expensive or hard to find, these stay cheap and reliable. Let's look at the clear framework that turns ordinary pantry staples into real crisis insurance. Focus on 4 simple factors: cost per calorie, storage life, nutritional completeness, and ease of use. When a food scores well on all 4, it beats expensive pre-packaged survival kits every time. You get more actual food value for your money, and it lasts far longer than most people expect. One often overlooked part is storage vulnerability. Basement dampness or garage heat can quietly ruin even good food through moisture or temperature swings. So the smartest plans account for that from the start. With the right choices and a little attention to conditions, these 9 foods become the practical backbone that serious households rely on. Before we get to the specific foods, it's worth calling out a common mistake that wastes both money and space. Many people chase trendy superfoods or expensive canned specialties that sound impressive, but only last 1 or 2 years before quality drops. They fill shelves with items that expire relatively soon, then find themselves vulnerable again when prices spike. Meanwhile, the cheaper, simpler staples that can last 10 to 30 years or more sit overlooked. That approach leaves families exposed precisely when they need reliability most. The better path is to prioritize the basics that deliver lasting value without the premium price tag. Based on that framework, here are the 9 cheap foods that outlast economic pressure because they combine long storage life, solid nutrition, and everyday affordability. I've grouped them so the progression makes sense, starting with the heavy calorie providers, moving to nutrition boosters, and finishing with the quiet, long-duration staples that almost nobody thinks to stock in volume. First, white rice. You can find good quality white rice in bulk for well under $1 a pound in most areas right now. It provides dense calories, around 1,600 per pound dry, and requires nothing more than boiling water. Properly stored, white rice stays edible for 30 years or longer because it has almost no oil content to go rancid. It solves the core problem of simply having enough energy to keep going when fresh food disappears. In humid climates, it needs extra protection against moisture, but in drier inland areas, it holds up remarkably well in basic, airtight containers. Next, dry beans. Think pinto, black, navy, or kidney. These run similarly cheap in bulk, often around $1 or less per pound. A single pound gives you substantial protein and fiber once cooked, turning a pot of plain rice into a complete meal. Dried beans can last 20 to 30 years when kept dry and cool. They address the protein gap that leaves people feeling weak during extended disruptions. In very humid regions, watch for weevils or mold if packaging isn't tight. In dry climates, they're almost foolproof. Third, dried lentils. They cook faster than most beans, often in 20 to 30 minutes, which saves fuel when resources are tight. Lentils cost even less than many beans and deliver excellent plant-based protein along with iron and folate. Shelf life reaches 25 years or more in good conditions. They solve the problem of quick, nourishing meals without long simmering times, making them especially practical when energy or time feels short. That covers the heavy hitters for calories and basic sustenance. Now move to the nutrition boosters that help prevent the slow health slide many families experience when diets get repetitive. Fourth, rolled oats. Available in large bags for pennies per serving, oats provide complex carbohydrates, fiber, and a surprising amount of protein. They cook into warm porridge with minimal effort and can stretch into cookies or simple baked goods if you have a heat source. Properly stored, they last up to 30 years. The morale lift from a familiar hot breakfast during stressful times is hard to overstate. It keeps energy steadier and spirits higher than plain grains alone. In humid coastal areas, oxygen absorbers help. In dry inland spots, simple sealed buckets work fine. Fifth, dry pasta in its various shapes. A pound costs very little and yields several hearty meals when boiled. It stores compactly and lasts decades without refrigeration. Pasta solves the comfort problem. Meals still feel like real food rather than survival rations. It pairs beautifully with beans or rice for balanced plates. Climate variation matters less here, but keep it away from moisture to avoid any softening. Sixth, instant potato flakes or dehydrated potato slices. These rehydrate quickly with hot water into mashed potatoes or soups, delivering potassium and comforting carbs when fresh vegetables are scarce. They're inexpensive in bulk and can last 10 to 20 years or longer in sealed packaging. The psychology advantage shows up again. Familiar side dishes reduce the mental weight of eating the same things day after day, helping families maintain normal routines longer. Now the final three, the secret long-duration staples that almost nobody stocks in meaningful quantities, yet provide outsized value when months turn into years of economic strain. Seventh, honey. Pure honey never truly spoils. It has lasted thousands of years in sealed conditions. You can buy it in larger jars or buckets at reasonable cost per calorie, and it adds natural sweetness, flavor, and even mild medicinal benefits for sore throats or minor wounds. A little goes a long way in morale. Tea, oatmeal, or simple desserts taste far better with it. In any climate, keep it sealed. Heat may make it more liquid, but it remains safe and usable. Eighth, white sugar. Like honey, sugar lasts indefinitely when kept dry. It's one of the cheapest ways to add calories and palatability to otherwise plain staples. Use it sparingly in cooking or baking to stretch limited supplies into something that feels sustaining. Cost per value is excellent, and it helps prevent the complete loss of sweetness that can wear on families during long disruptions. Dry climates are ideal, but even in humidity, airtight containers protect it well. Ninth, salt. plain iodized or sea salt in bulk. At just pennies per pound, it's the most overlooked insurance item. Salt preserves food, makes everything taste better, and supports basic electrolyte balance when water and exertion increase. It lasts forever, with no special conditions beyond staying dry. In prolonged stress, having enough salt prevents the blandness that leads to appetite loss and lower morale. Coastal areas with higher ambient humidity simply need tighter sealing than drier inland regions. All 9 of these foods stay viable even into the 2nd or 3rd year of extended economic pressure, when many other supplies have long since dwindled or become prohibitively expensive. The cost per value comparison is straightforward. For the price of a few restaurant meals, you can secure months of core nutrition that requires almost no ongoing expense. They deliver far more usable calories and nutrients per dollar than most processed alternatives. Of course, having the right foods only helps if they actually last in your specific space. Store them in a cool, dark place, ideally between 50 and 70 degrees. Use food-grade buckets, mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, or vacuum-sealed containers to block moisture, pests, and air. Avoid garages that swing hot in summer or basements that stay damp. In humid coastal or southern climates, or add extra desiccants and check seals more often. In drier inland or northern areas, the same methods work with less worry. Rotate a small working supply from your long-term stock so you stay familiar with the taste and preparation. Label everything clearly with dates. Beyond the practical side, there's a quieter advantage most people miss. When your pantry quietly holds these 9 foods, daily decisions shift. You stop waking up wondering what's affordable or available this week. Meals stay simple but steady. Families report lower stress levels because the background noise of scarcity fades. You see examples in past disruptions, households that ate regular rice and beans, while neighbors stood in long lines or paid premium prices for whatever remained. The confidence compounds. You move through the day knowing you've positioned your home to handle what comes without constant reaction. Preparation is not panic, it is positioning. It lets you stay calm and focused on what actually matters, your family, your work, your community, rather than daily survival math. Which of these 9 would you start with, and why? Drop a comment below. Hearing what resonates with real households helps everyone think more clearly about their own plans. Preparation removes uncertainty. The calm household is the prepared household.